Parsons Productions fans, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite, the Suzuki Sv650. In my last video on the Suzuki, we got our first test ride in, and this bike is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Honestly, I have been dailying this bike a lot lately, and oh my goodness, she's just good. She's just a good bike. And because she is such a good bike, we got a whole table full of upgrades today. Let me walk you through what we're planning on installing. First things first, the simplest install is new mirrors. I'm assuming that's Costco. It's not the Costco you're thinking of, but it's Coso, sure. But these are the new mirrors that I picked out for it. The other mirrors got demolished in a crash, so these ones will fit on right here, and I think these will look great. The one thing I hate about this mirror is that every time I put it away in the garage, it bends a little bit, and I gotta readjust it every single time I'm riding, and it is the most annoying thing ever. So that is our first thing on the list. Next thing, we have a exhaust. Do you remember how ridiculously loud this thing is straight piped? And it needs some sort of muffling. Like, everybody knows that you're coming when this thing is straight piped, and it's great and all, but it's not a whole lot of fun. And you may have noticed that the rear passenger seat mount is also the exhaust mount, and that got a little bent up in the accident. So what we're gonna do is replace it with this one. It's a OEM replacement. I found it online, really inexpensive. So we're gonna throw that on as well to hold the new exhaust on. And this is a Acropavic. We're gonna go with that. Someone in the comments let me know how that's pronounced, because I don't know how that's pronounced. It comes with a silencer. I'm probably gonna run it out the silencer just to be just a little noisier. I don't want it to be crazy. And then the one thing I noticed about this tip right here is it's a little on the bent side. When I tried installing this exhaust earlier, it wouldn't quite fit. So I ordered our OEM replacements exhaust piece. So this will fit right in before the exhaust, and that'll fit nicely. Next on the list, we've got blinkers. This thing does not have any blinkers, and it's a little inconvenient. I definitely need to let people know when I'm turning. It is missing the side pieces that hook on the OEM style fitting, and I am planning on ordering those and then installing these blinkers right here. And these are sequential, so they go row right, or low left, and it'll be cool. However, for the rear, it should be fairly simple. I'm planning on making a little L bracket right here, and then these will mount just like so on each side, and they're pretty bright. I ran these on my old Kawasaki Ninja, and they were fantastic. And then last but not least, you may have noticed this hunk of disaster right here. Well, the bike is missing its right hand rear fairing. This is a super cheap replacement. Well, not a replacement, it is an OEM piece. However, somebody had a yellow motorcycle apparently, and then they did a really bad job painting it gray. And my plan with this is it has a few cracks in it and the fiberglass, which is a really easy fix with fiberglass. Fiberglass, you just throw a little patch on it and it's not a big deal. But I'm planning on painting this and putting that right there, and then we can have a completed Sv650. A couple things that I do not have yet that I'm planning on doing is this gas tank. I like it, however, it's dented and missing some paint. I could try to pull those dents out myself. Never been super successful with dents in gas tanks, especially with motorcycles. They're a little tricky. So I may just order a new tank. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. That's for a later date. And then the last thing, I need these little side pieces that mount right here, and that'll mount a new headlight. I'm planning on running a different headlight eventually, not this one. It's got like an LED strip. You may have seen it in my Kawasaki build. It's very similar to that. And then I just need a little L brackets right here, and they'll pop off, and then they can mount the blinkers on there. But anyway, that's today's plan. Let's jump into today's episode. Okay, to install these mirrors, they're actually really simple. There's some threads already on the existing OEM brake levers and clutch levers. So what we'll do is it came with these various adapters for different sizes, and one of these will fit in there, and then we'll just wrench it down. There we go. There's one out of the two mirrors installed. You can see how that looks from the rider's viewpoint. That doesn't look too bad. It's a little smaller than the other one, but it's okay. But, you know, they don't move around as much. You can tighten them up. And this one, it just moves around so much. It's nice, but there's adjustments on it, but I don't have a second one, and I wanted a second one, so yeah, there you go. Looks good. Alrighty, well, there we go. Two new Costco mirrors. I'm gonna call them Costco. there's 2 Costco mirrors all set. I think they look pretty good. I'm pretty proud of this. I think they look rather OEM, not too aftermarket looking. But yeah. Nice. Next up on the list is exhaust. I'm going in order of easiness because I know one of these things are gonna trip me up and I'm gonna be stuck here forever. So exhaust is on the list next. Let's get this installed. The first thing we're gonna do is install the new pipe, and that involves removing this clamp right here, and then this one will pop off and we can put the new one on. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start by removing this clamp with the 10 mil socket. There we go, that was easy. So you can see this isn't quite circular. It got pretty banged up here in the crash, and because of that, the exhaust doesn't fit on perfectly, and there's a rather large exhaust leak. I tried fitting it on earlier and it was all bad. Shout out to eBay Motors for the nice parts. I literally buy everything from eBay. So I am very pleased with the results. Look how nice this is. This is, I believe, factory OEM. I looked everywhere for this exhaust piece. There's not a whole lot of them out there that are exactly nice fit. This is gonna interfere a little bit with the application, so we're gonna remove that. I've got a replacement, so no big deal. Power tools. Why am I using hand tools? Literally every time I'm out here using sockets, and I forget I have an impact gun. Already it comes with a nice new clamp. I'm gonna put the clamp on, put it on as far as we can. I'm gonna angle it right about there so the exhaust aligns with the bike. And then I'll take my 10 mil on the impact this time. Okay, next we're gonna install this piece. It is a high vibration point, so I'm gonna throw a little bit of Loctite on the threads. Now the exhaust hang out somewhere like that, and then we can put the clamp on like that. So I am running into a little bit of an issue. These are the springs they gave me with the exhaust extension. And you can see that if I were to hook one on here and the other down here, that ain't quite gonna work. I mean, these do stretch, but not that much. Exhaust officially on. You don't know how long that took. I totally messed up my last one, so I ended up ordering a new one. It's actually like a week later in this video, only a few minutes for you guys. But yeah, I ended up ordering a whole new mid-pipe section here, and then I had to order new springs, and getting those springs on was really atrocious. So now it is time to do a little test start and see how this exhaust sounds. So let's give it a go. That sounds a lot better. Not as ridiculous. The other exhaust was way louder. Then again, the other exhaust was just straight pipe, so yeah, I'm happy with that. That sounds good. And now for the overall best part is the sticker. That's gonna go right there. Perfect. That looks good. Okay, and now for the rear blinkers. I have been waiting for these for far too long. My brackets I made are finally done and painted, and these will mount onto these LED blinkers. And then I finally decided where they're gonna go. These little bolts right here are a perfect location for them, so I'm just gonna have the bracket go on an L right there and the blinker come out at a side angle. So let's get that installed. Okay. That looked pretty good so far. Now it's time to wire them up. The wires are actually hanging out right in here. Here's our blinker wires. One day I'll actually plug in OEM blinkers. After running the front ones, they're great and all, but I don't think they're all that fantastic. The LEDs do have a little bit of a function. Here, I'll show you. When you press in the blinker, it does this weird thing where it's all kind of like glitchy right here. So it's because you don't have a resistor in the LED, and it's okay for right now, but one day I would like to get the OEM blinkers on here, or blinkers that just work with the bike, but this is just a temporary fix. So let's go ahead and wire these up. Well, folks, the motorcycle is looking mighty fine. We have both blinkers finally installed and fully wired up. However, any of you are aware of how a regular blinker system works. There is a pulse of power going to that, and that is powering the blinker. Normally this bike has incandescent bulbs that require a lot more power and they'll flash at a slower rate. One thing you can do to bypass this, because an LED uses much less power, is to use a resistor. And I'm not quite a big fan of how jumpy that is. Doesn't look quite right. You can see it is all good. I mean, yeah, people are gonna know I'm turning. They're supposed to be sequential, but they're not really in a cool manner. The one thing I can do is put a resistor in there and that would slow it down. Now, I think that's gonna be a project for another day, and I'm also gonna save the side fairing for another day. So that concludes this episode of Parsons Productions, and I will catch you guys in the next installment of the Suzuki Build Series. Until then.